We are live. This is the market update. This is the Crypto Summit market update. Are you guys mooning my bags? I think the answer to that is no. But even if they don't, quote, moon everybody's bags, they're going to make it clear that they're going to get involved in crypto and everyone else is going to have to FOMO in behind them. That's one way to look at it. The other way to look at it is when they're finally done with this, really, it's almost like I feel a little bit like after everyone's done being happy or not happy, we can get on with the real trade, which is crypto much higher into May and July. If you want to see the altcoins that we were talking about on our most recent stream, some surprisingly simple stuff, but not obvious, right? And particularly these American-made cryptos and possible tax treatment. If you want to get all that podcast style, plus we have a video about the Gann roadmap for crypto for the rest of the year. We'll give you a small taste of that today. And of course, Patreon, if you want the super direct stuff, the chat, the hardcore podcast, everything, and all the naughty words I can't say on YouTube. Don't forget LuxAlgo. Right? It's like the backbone of what we're doing on charts. You can see 5 waves with the Bill Noble indicator. And of course, if you're booking Bitcoin Vegas, please do so using this link or the QR code down below. Best time to book that stuff is when everyone hates it, which pretty much covers where we are right now, right? I got an email from this guy. He's like, no one's used your QR code. And I'm like, oh, really, bro? Have you been watching the market? You got fear, greed on your Twitter feed? It's like, yo. But I think this is going to change because I think we're going to go from, is the government going to moon my bags to, is the euro going to moon my bags? Here's a controversial statement. Europe is back, and so is the euro. So the dollar can finally fall. So again, you want to find out how to handle this, you want to find out how to get in on a similar bottom, because we'll talk to Grok later. PowerPoint returns today, talking to Grok about the similarities between, what's going on today and the flat out revulsion that occurred after FTX. So if you want to get like podcast style with some Gann roadmaps, and we did hint at some antivirus alpha, by the way, on the subject of antivirus alpha and value investing. Once again, the guy that runs this project supposedly, and I believe it, that Janice McAfee last night announced that Talking John McAfee comes out tonight. They're doing a Telegram space, so feel free to head on over to their Telegram. I mean, again, just like he told me a while ago, Janice being involved was on the long-term roadmap, and he made that happen soon. And then they're talking about Talking John McAfee on Spotify, right? Or doing podcasts. So very interesting that they were not deterred by Twitter being afraid of John McAfee. Okay. And this is also a good reminder with the Crypto Summit that we have to be sovereign. We can't sit around and wait for the government to moon our bags, although I'm sure Michael Saylor will be there on behalf of Bitcoin. And then we can all say to ourselves, okay, what is the value proposition of cryptocurrency when we're done with this government circular, right? I think everyone's just got to get that out of their system. The market went way up. The market went way down. And now what are we going to do? Now what? Like, what's next? Like, they'll make their statement and people will buy and sell. And then I'm still of the opinion that BlackRock, Binance, all these characters that just relentlessly liquidate people are standing down here waiting to buy any disappointment trade. And the answer is pretty simple. The deficit is too high. The dollar is going lower. Government spending cannot be controlled. We are going to talk extensively about a New York Times story about a meltdown at the White House cabinet meeting. Very interesting. right? I'm not particularly a fan of Mr. Musk after he ran like a chicken from John McAfee, but, you know, he's a smart guy and he's trying to do things inside the government. And things we have to start asking ourselves is, why is he doing it, right? Can they get government spending under control? Can they, right? I mean, yes, they can, but is it going to be enough? Will it be enough to unlock the housing market? Will it be enough to get rates down? It may be enough to get the dollar down, or maybe if they can't get government spending under control, the dollar goes down harder. Interesting, don't you think? Like, people who have been watching gold be up only should not be surprised that the dollar follows. Normally, the dollar goes first and then gold. This is the reverse. So everyone is focused on the summit, and I get it. We'll go over that. I think the fact that Michael Saylor and retail players like Brian Armstrong are there speak volumes. I mean, basically, they want everyone coming in through Coinbase, right? Like, our members know about this, and they're probably on the bid in the cryptos that we talked about, because the end game of this is to get institutions, companies, and countries a tax incentive to own Bitcoin, or some kind of incentive to own Bitcoin. Like, for example, if you own Bitcoin, tariffs don't apply to you, maybe, right? Or it's just to get retail involved, right? Just to get them involved. Now, Michael Saylor is out with new stuff. We're going to talk about that. We're going to do news, the dollar, and then we're going to do roadmap in crypto. So on that note, if you need a roadmap in crypto on this Friday, March 7th, subscribe to this channel, turn on alerts so you know when we're going live. And if the content works for you, please hit the like button. Please hit the like button. Okay, don't forget, before we get rolling, AIntivirus.ai. It's AINTI virus.ai. Talking John McAfee, the AI agent, starts talking soon, as I understand it, and they continue to release new functionality. I own it. I love it. I can't stop loving it, and no one is touching it at 5 cents. 5 million market cap for a functional privacy tool that retail can use. And along with Talking McAfee, they're releasing a green plant functionality on the site to go with e-gift card and eSIM. I'm so excited. I literally, it's like I'm talking to my partner from Unhinged Crypto, the co-host of the Member Area show, and we're actually like throwing around some really interesting ideas of like how to go beyond. I mean, it's tough to go beyond talking and then eventually holographic John McAfee, but how can we get the fact that this dude was the original out there? And if you're disappointed off the crypto summit, okay, well, it's good that Uncle Sugar is not coming down on crypto anymore. But if you want to come on over to the, we're not going to wait for the government to tell us to do anything, right? Come on over with us. Come on over with us over at AIntivirus, and let's see who's here. Let's see who's here. All right, we got Bull Runner first on the stream. Joe Mike, members, welcome. Bobby, Gavin Busby, Bud74. I'm confused. I'm tired of not sleeping, bro. Trust me, you got company on that. I am spent, as I'm sure a lot of people are. I mean, if there was ever a true phrase, this market is tired. Oh my God, dude. This market is tired. Tired. What did the summit explain? I will go over that, right? Are we going to the moon yet? I don't know, but I appreciate the McAfee emoji. Stay tuned for PowerPoint, because I asked Grok and I go back and forth about some assumptions. We'll talk about the lunar eclipse coming up. Okay. Don't get in a fight with your girlfriend or boyfriend over the next, say, week. Don't do it, because the eclipse makes all that heightened. When moon? I don't know. After the eclipse. Okay. Donato, wrong again. What's up? Yoppy, the water guy, legend. Gregory, legend, a member hitting the green button. Sir, we appreciate you. Right. Willimeter is here. Crypto Hoops, Texas Honey Badger. Retail investors are covered in ketchup. Oh, they certainly are. Joe Hackman, the meeting was a nothing burger. Crypto Hoops in the house. Search Agent. The Economic Pepper, keep up the good work, sir. I appreciate that. GDL is here from Belgium. Welcome, sir, from Europe, right? Welcome, sir, from Europe. A1, they didn't show us what they talked about at the summit because they were in the middle of talks. Dude, they're watching the tape and they're like, you know what? We can't come out of here and look stupid. That's a guess. I mean, the fact that Michael Saylor is there when he walks out, Michael Saylor is going to be the spokesman for the crypto reserve because everyone's tired of listening to him bullpost crypto on CNBC. So now he's going to have something new to talk about. At a minimum, I think that makes the case to buy Bitcoin on the dip, right? And Wrong Again says it perfectly. Is the euro our savior? Yeah, exactly, right? And Felix says, once I get my money back, I'm selling and never touching crypto again. Dude, you have company. You have company. I swear to God. I talked to Grok. You know, I'm arguing with Grok. I'm like, Grok, this is as bad as it was at the bottom of FTX in 2022. Perhaps worse in terms of the shock and the disappointment, right? Because 2022 was just a vicious bear market where stuff went straight down. But there wasn't the hopium that it was going to go up that accompanied that because the news flow was so terrible. So in terms of a sentiment issue, this, I would argue it's worse than 2022. But Grok doesn't necessarily agree, right? But we'll talk about that. And Sean, a member, says, let's go AINTIvirus. Yo, man, I like it. Toby likes it, right? H-bar is about to H-bar is about to come unglued. We'll look at H-bar. We'll look at some of these American-made cryptos that still may get favorable tax treatment, right? You know, we were looking at Arweave. We'll check in with where that is. Not sure why everyone's given up on artificial intelligence, but again, we'll try to look at whatever charts that we can. We'll look at Bitcoin, Ethereum, and XRP. We'll check it all out. All right, let's look at where the market is before I start talking. Okay, so, all right, March 7th, 6 p.m. Eastern. Bitcoin at 86, ETH down 2%, hanging in there at like FTX style lows at 2100 for real. Like ETH hasn't done anything officially in 2 years. Solana unchanged, XRP and Cardano getting spanked, right? Avalanche only down 2%. Headquartered in Brooklyn, New York, and Bitcoin Cash holding in. Interesting, don't you think? I do. And then we were asking if Steve's watching later on today. I actually finally found the DeFi Perp futures contract that Steve was asking about. And notice, DeFi really isn't moving that much. It's not moving that much. Okay. So Lynette becomes a loyalty badge member and emojis. Yes, you get cool emojis. You can use the McAfee emoji and the green button early and often. Notice how DeFi trades okay. World Liberty could wind up being the strategic crypto marketing hedge fund. You want your coin talked about? Well, pay us and we'll buy it and talk about it. It's almost like the ultimate marketing agent in a way. And Wall Street, which was not involved at the crypto summit, better start making announcements if they want to get on the orange man's good side. That's the most important thing. Wall Street was not at the crypto summit. So they better get their act together, right? Just saying, especially on DeFi. Okay. Just right. And just in case you're not nauseated enough with meme coins, a new GrokCoin is out, 355,000 market cap. Grok 3 has a meme coin. Algorithms, I love to hate them. But yeah, whatever works, whatever keeps people involved. Solana, basically, I look at meme coins as a giant test net for Solana. It's testing the network. Okay, Michael Saylor, a digital asset strategy to dominate the 21st century. Okay, so Here we go. TLDR from Michael Saylor. What's the point? The point is Michael Saylor is going to push this on the tape. Now, everyone wants the government to moon their bags, and there's a disappointment trade. That's probably what's gone on for the last 2 months, right? So, okay, government's not mooning your bags. Everyone's going to be upset. I understand that. I get it. You're wrecked. I get it. But don't underestimate what a guy like Michael Saylor can do. Don't underestimate what these retail crypto exchanges need to start doing, because the orange man is going to tell them, get off GigaChad and get people involved. Retail. Everyone's like, companies, governments. No. People need to get involved in crypto, because that's what McAfee said. McAfee said cryptocurrency is the currency of the people, and now would be a good time. That's why all the exchange heads are at the summit and not Wall Street, not BlackRock. Okay, now let's talk about this. This indirectly is very interesting to me. So let's talk about government spending. Everyone's talking about the government crypto meeting. And I want to talk about this meeting. Inside the explosive meeting where officials clashed with Mr. Musk. Somebody wants to go to Mars, I think. Somebody wants to make sure there's $2 trillion for him to go to Mars. Do you think? I think so. It's amazing they haven't brought this up. In a way, it's shameless. Oh, yeah, I want the United States to survive. Right. So I can sell everybody a robot and go to Mars. Come on. Okay, so my salt aside, Elon is in a cabinet meeting dressing down people like the Secretary of State, who, I can't believe could be under any more pressure, right? The orange man at the State of the Union looks at Marco Rubio and is like, Marco, if we can't get things done, you're accountable, but you're doing a great job. And all you really have to do is annex the Panama Canal, buy Greenland, and get Canada to become the 51st state. Other than that, we don't need you to do anything. Jesus. Oh. And Marco Rubio's like, dude, why are you firing people? What are you doing? Right? And he went after, they went at it before the orange man had to call a timeout. Now, I know the orange man was loving it, because there's nothing better than a fired up meeting where everyone's like really intense. It's better than everyone sitting around, just saying, yes, Mr. President. And of course, he's got Elon perfectly positioned as the bad guy for this good cop, bad cop routine. Now, why is Elon melting down? Why is Elon telling government officials they're not firing enough people? Because remember, and I said this, I don't understand what they expected from Elon. Elon carried a sink into Twitter and said, let this sink in, and then fired everybody, right? He called up managers and he said, who's the best person in your department? And then the next day, the manager was gone and that person was running the show. Okay. So he's going to try to do the same thing in government. Why did anybody think it was going to be any different? He's just going to relentlessly get after it because he wants to go to Mars. So he's incentivized to be an absolute madman. And of course, everybody there who's got to do a job, who wants resources, doesn't want to get, doesn't want him doing the Star Trek 1969 phaser vaporizing act on their government department. Now, there's another point here. Are they panicking about government spending? Did Trump sick Elon on all these people because they can't figure out the deficit and government spending? In other words, did Bowden or Brandon leave them with such a bag on government spending that they can't figure it out? They got to create this distraction with Elon, and they're basically like a corporation doing panic cost cutting, right? Doing panic cost cutting. Okay. So, breaking news. The Office of the Comptroller of the Currency just declared that national banks are now allowed to custody crypto assets. Please buy crypto assets. Please get it going. Please do something. Now, back to government spending. I think they're absolutely panicking, right? I'm going to bring this graph up, right, that I got from a good friend of mine about where the deficit really is. Like, this is not something that you're seeing in the regular media, right? It's actually quite sobering. Okay. this is the government deficit, right? Now, I think this is the seasonal cold, but this is still like $1 trillion, right? $1 trillion. Stumbledore, a super chat, sir. I appreciate that. Everyone's upset because they weren't part of the conversation. I too wanted to be there for it all, not left wondering how our fate is to be decided. Sir, I appreciate the super chat. Welcome to the show. They're panicking about this. They're panicking. I'm telling you, right? If you have this kind of stuff going on in the White House, they are panicking, right? And even if they aren't panicking, Elon is panicking because there isn't enough money to go to Mars and he can't fix the deficit. So he's screaming at the Secretary of State. I mean, can you imagine? You know, hi, welcome to the White House. I'm some tech bro in a t-shirt. Okay, yeah, I'm a trillionaire, but I'm still some tech bro in a t-shirt, and I'm going to scream at the Secretary of State. They're panicking, right? And the dollar is going to reflect that. So when we're all done with the show at the White House, maybe we're going to get to the real show, right? In other words, don't trade what's going on now, because that's what everyone's doing. Like, oh, let's trade today's news. No, man, let's trade tomorrow's news. That's what you trade. And we'll go over Grok and the roadmap later. Okay, so, you know, job growth is lower than expected, but there's nothing going on here that would make Powell freak out. So, like I said, Powell's taking the whole year off, and what happens with the dollar and monetary policy is a function of government spending. Everyone's obsessed with the Fed. The Fed's taking the whole year off if they can. Now, Europe's Patriots enthused by Trump. So the Germans go bananas on debt and government spending. So we're moving the deep state sugar train from the U.S. over to Europe. The fact of the matter is, if they start cranking up leverage, right, European stocks have underperformed U.S. stocks for like 10 years. So if you get European stocks going, demand for the euro as a result going, you can have the dollar massively lower. And they want the dollar lower. So dollar lower, gold higher, Bitcoin up. It's as simple as that. That's the elevator market update. Somebody said in the comments, will the euro save us? Dude, that should have been the title of the show. Should have been the title of the show. Okay, the end game of the summit was never U.S. government buys all the world's Bitcoin. A U.S. strategic reserve means other countries will do it. Wealth managers have no excuse. Financial institutions have no excuse. Pension funds, which remember, pensions and insurance companies in that group, that's $60 trillion worldwide. It's a lot of demand for MicroStrategy paper. All you hedge funds out there that are short that stuff. Yeah. Okay. Do you think China is now more or less likely to hang on to the 200,000 Bitcoin that they own? This is a good point. You know, the Chinese and the Russians are giga long gold. Fine. How's that working out? Okay, you got great P&L on it, but is it helping your currencies? I don't think so. And Chinese chased everybody out and everybody went to Texas. And I bet Texas is going to be the first people out of the gate in front of Uncle Sugar buying it. I'm hoping that's a catalyst. Man, I love Texas. Oh, I'm praying my boys come through down there because that could be the stealth headline along with the dollar and government spending. Okay, so the orange man puts on the gold tie. Should have been orange. All right, and says, hey, you know, let's get busy. Let's hope someone actually does. Powell on hold, not doing anything. Okay, but rates are too high. They're just too high. There's no reason for him to move them, but they're still too high. The housing market is locked. I continue to believe that the only way out of this trap is to have the dollar go lower. Matter of fact, I'm going to bring back this little saying that I haven't used in a while, is that the only way out of a debt crisis is to devalue the currency. That's the only way out. Literally, that's what the book says. Right? You could fire 90% of the employees in the government. That's not going to change the fact that they're spending $1 trillion or more than they take in. I mean, it's crazy. They can't stop it. So the only way out of a debt crisis is to devalue the currency. And everybody is selling today because their bags are not going to get mooned by the government. John McAfee told you cryptocurrency was your way outside the government, and everyone is selling and everyone is bearish right at the moment where these things become apparent. Just like everyone was selling back in 2002, all the tech stocks where you had a generational bottom. Okay, Trump and amend to rescind and amend all previous crypto guidance. So they're not taking you out to the woodshed anymore. We think the U.S. balance available for repurpose into the reserve is at most 88,000 Bitcoin, only 43% of current government holdings. Right? That's because 198,000 Bitcoin now held by Uncle Sugar. A lot of that will be returned to an exchange. Market will learn the difference between seized and forfeited. Okay. So again, a reason to be disappointed, I think. A reason to be disappointed, which again is an opportunity into the eclipse, right? I thought that the the planetary formation at the end of February was the end. It kind of was, because they had the Trump tweet super spike. And now we just sit and wait to see what they're going to do over the next 7 days. And my attitude is, if they're puking it out, they're puking it out for the wrong reason. They're wrong reason, because they're not seeing the bullish catalysts ahead. They're just not. Just like they weren't seeing the bullish catalysts ahead before the election. Okay, very interesting from Eric Trump today that they're after a major bank for some egregious conduct when these characters got debanked. This debank thing is not funny. Now, I don't know that it's totally gone away, but these banks are going to get held accountable. And, my brother's a lawyer, and, when you got to walk through metal detectors and go to court and face the music, you're going to think twice about doing this kind of stuff again. Matter of fact, if they get this done at the summit, that this kind of stuff from a legal and regulatory aspect can never happen again, it's a form of discrimination, right? People who do crypto deserve equal protection under the law. U.S. regulator says banks can engage in crypto activities. Again, if the Bank of New York can custody crypto, that opens the door for the entire banking system to allow you not only to hold crypto along with dollars and stocks, but it allows for tokenized stocks. And I think this is the most important thing. It allows banks, even though this is not what we want, to be a gateway for DeFi. Crypto, in order to be money, needs an interest rate. So if Joe Public can't get to Aave, the banks in the beginning may get them to the DeFi system. DeFi exists. People aren't using it. Well, institutions may start using it. If not for retail, perhaps for their own account. I mean, you can get yield on crypto. You can play the interest rate game in crypto, right? I don't think people are just going to buy it. Wall Street doesn't want to buy crypto just to stick it in a vault like Michael Saylor. They're going to want to use it. I think that's very important. I also think it's very important that Wall Street, the Bank of New York, all these characters were left out of the crypto summit. Now, of course, the crypto summit is really kind of a big thank you very much for all the big donors, obviously, right? But the banks aren't there, right? So they're going to make them jealous and they're going to make them want in. China and Middle Eastern countries are considering a Bitcoin strategy. Yeah, you better do it fast, bro. You know why? Because the orange man wants everything done in crypto. He wants it done here. He wants it done here. You watch out in these crypto mining stocks. I continue to believe that if the stock market does not collapse, man, you have crypto mining stocks that are on sale. If you want to buy a ton of Bitcoin, the only way to get it without disrupting the market is to buy a Bitcoin miner. And maybe the crypto stocks are the play. Maybe. Okay. Crypto Czar reminds you that the big altcoins got mentioned because they're just the highest market cap coins. So big disappointment trade there. Okay, great. XRP is still a fast form of money. It is. And Solana is, for all you say about meme coins, it's become obvious that Solana, is the most well-traveled network. I mean, they can handle the most traffic. They've proved themselves. So I don't know why in a weak dollar environment, everybody's in a hurry to give up on XRP. I think that's a huge mistake. Now, Cardano, again, they got to get something running on Cardano, right? Like Charles Hotchkiss didn't get invited to the summit, but he was like an early advisor to the president. But I continue to believe that he's going to look at these guys and say, I want Web3 made in America, which again is not being discussed, right? Everyone's like, well, are they going to buy Bitcoin? No. Are they going to get Web3 going? Web3 has done nothing. There has been no Web3. It's been Bitcoin and memes, right? What about the rest of it, right? What about America owning Web3 or America being like the leader in Web3? I mean, either he's going to say it or the market's just going to figure it out based on the tax incentives. Either way, throwing in the towel on things like Solana and XRP and Algorand and Hedera and Cardano, I don't know, man. I don't know that just like giving up on these things makes any sense. I mean, you know, do you realize that there are individual large tech companies? Like if you consider the market cap of Cardano or Ethereum or XRP, individual corporations are going to spend budgets on AI data centers. Their budget for that is bigger than the market cap of some of these major coins. That's just one company. Like Silicon Valley is probably going to spend upwards of $1 trillion to build Skynet. Yet everybody in crypto is like, well, we don't want this, right? The government did moon it. I'm upset. I get it. I know you're upset. I'm upset. Everyone's upset. But you got to make clear-headed trading decisions and you got to do research and look for the next trade, right? You got to look for the next trade when people are selling off the old one, right? Oh, I'm rugged. I'm hosed. Really? No, hold on a second, right? Maybe this is a major opportunity because again, you know, they're going to spend $1 trillion on Web 2. So that automatically has to increase the value of Web3, right? The catch-up trade is going to be epic, like NVIDIA or Solana, NVIDIA or Bitcoin, NVIDIA or XRP, or NVIDIA or things like Near or Neural AI or AIntivirus, right? What is your AI play? Get in the elevator and work. Hey, what's your AI play? Oh, NVIDIA. Oh, okay. Anybody got anything other than NVIDIA for AI? Probably going to get crickets. What's your AI play? You know, maybe we can make that a game in the comments. What's your AI play? The president of the United States just called Bitcoin digital gold, blah, 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 blah. Okay, awesome, right? Let's go, right? The president of the United States is calling Bitcoin digital gold because the dollar is in trouble. They want it down. They want it down. They don't want your bags up. They want the dollar down. Wrong again with a $5 super chat, sir. I appreciate that. Thank you. All right. Crypto Czar says Bitcoin is scarce, it's valuable, and that is strategic for the United States to hold on to this as a long-term asset. Okay, great. It's nice to know that they're not selling over the top, but this is not what people wanted. And you know what? Good. This was the theme from last week. People are disappointed. Good. You got bearish. Good. You hate this business. Good. I had to do this. Like last night, Eagle King's calling me and they said, yeah, they signed a strategic reserve. I'm like, wow, really? It's like, yeah, it's just going to be the Bitcoin that they hold. I'm like, what? What was the point of even signing it? So what happened to me? I was like, rugged. Well, wait a minute. Are you going to say that as the dollar is turning and collapsing? It's like 2022, right? Everybody knew the Bitcoin ETF was coming and they just kept selling. And no one touched it for 6 months. Under 20K. Because I asked Grok, it's like, hey, 80K today, 20K back then. What's the difference? What's the similarities? We'll go over that soon. Ancient darknet market wakes up after 9 years with $400 million in Bitcoin. Every time they talk about all these wallets moving Bitcoin around, it's always bullish. It's always a trick, right? This is like Binance or whatever. It's like, hey, let's move our Bitcoin around. Okay, go ahead and sell $400 million worth of Bitcoin, crush the market, right? You'll see the biggest gigantic candle ever. It's like all the way down, all the way back. You know what I'm saying? It's like, look, Bitcoin is a really small market. It is. And if you have a problem with the dollar and you have the euro with a rocket strapped to its butt, we'll go over those charts. Bitcoin neutral strategy for the U.S. to acquire Bitcoin. So they won't spend tax collector money. But I don't know if they can spend tariff money or they can issue debt. I'm sure that's what Michael Saylor is saying. You know, issue the Bitcoin bond or something like that. They got to come up with something creative. We've decided Bitcoin is scarce. It's valuable for the U.S. Market experts weigh in on the Bitcoin reserve. Yeah, okay, right. Everyone's weighing in. Blah, 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 blah. All you need is the chart of the dollar. U.S. Customs has started releasing seized crypto miners. Okay, crypto mining stocks. If stocks do not fall out of bed, QQQ is at the 200-day moving average. If stocks do not crash, you got to take a look at these Bitcoin miners on any disappointment trade. Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana traders chase downside protection. XRP stands out. Oh, God, I'm quitting now. Everybody wants out. Everybody, like I did a short video, like we got to give Brad Garlinghouse a break. Oh my God, the FUD, right? Everybody has bought into the FUD about crypto as money. About, you know, it's what Michael Saylor keeps talking about, digital assets. Maybe, you know, it's so nauseating. It's like, oh, we're going to need an announcement from the government and probably an announcement from BlackRock. So everybody could wake up and go, oh yeah, we should buy crypto because we should buy crypto. Not because the government's going to moon our bags. We should actually buy crypto for a reason. That has not occurred to anybody and may not occur to anybody as everybody does this whole crypto weekend nightmare, disappoint, whatever they're going to do, right? Maybe they're just going to scare everybody. I don't know. We'll see what Grok has to say soon. Okay, so the confirmed attendees, right? Marathon Digital, okay, XRP, Gemini, Robinhood, Retail, Chainlink. Let's connect up to everybody. BlackRock, not there. Crypto market is skeptical about the formation of a strategic reserve, says a giant bank that's been completely left out of crypto and now may get their chance to get in. A lot of people aren't thinking that maybe the reason the government isn't mooning everyone's bags now is because they got to give the chance for the banks and the big institutions to get involved and the corporations. Because the government just takes it now and takes it up to 200K. It doesn't give anybody the time to get involved. And that could be why all this Bitcoin is moving around on chain, right? That's how it works. That's how guys like Michael Saylor, that's how they get the quantities that they do. And they're just moving all this Bitcoin from, you know, sellers into diamond hands. So it's like, you know, I don't know if they could come out. I thought about this. Like, you know, if they come out and they say we're taking it to 200K, what's going to happen to the banks? The banks aren't going to want to play, right? Yeah, they'll moon our bags, but, you know, how do the bigger players who need to get involved, who have been using the regulatory clarity excuse, there is no excuse now. And that could be the headline after everybody gets done selling. There is no excuse. None, right? Cardano, XRP, Solana, everyone packing it in. Sell, sell, sell. Wealth managers, no excuse. Financial institutions, no excuse. Pension funds, no excuse. Like I said, I did something a long time ago with ChatGPT. If 1% of all pension funds hit Binance based on Binance's current volume at the time, that's 260,000 Bitcoin, 263,000 if I remember the numbers correctly. That's just 1% of pension fund money. Doesn't say anything about the rest of the world. So, okay, they might hit it. Okay, yeah, we're going to do all that. All right. Right. Everyone's like, sell the fact. People in crypto love sell the fact, right? They love sell the fact. Sell the fact was 109K. And now at 88, everyone's like, oh yeah, sell the fact, sell the fact. No, dude, sell the fact was, I guess, at 109K when Michael Saylor was getting filled with borrowed money. And he's delighted because he probably couldn't borrow that money now because everyone loved it at 109, but at 88, it's not attractive anymore. Okay, let's go to PowerPoint. PowerPoint is back. Thanks to Grok. Okay. So let's talk about the worst case scenario, right? The worst case scenario is you got the eclipse on March 13th. Now, I don't know if the eclipse is going to affect price as in like 70 or sub 80. I don't really see a case for sub 80. Neither does the YouTube member area. You know, we don't see a case for sub 80. Now, what I have heard about this eclipse is that it can make people emotional, right? You can fight with your significant other. You should go spend time in nature. Everybody's all upset. They want to quit. That could be the eclipse. Yeah, I know. You think I'm out of my mind, but it's a lunar eclipse. You know, the moon, full moons, and things like that affect people's behavior. So worst case scenario, 76 by the eclipse. Then it rebounds to 81. And then by the end of the month, you're actually higher than where you're at now, according to Grok. So I fed Grok, hey, crypto summit, here's what's going on. They got the eclipse. What do you think? Boom. So that's the worst case scenario, right? They want to sell you Bitcoin at 80. I take it. You want to take it at an 80 handle, and then they want to wick it down to some stupid price. I don't know, man. And because I asked Grok about the bullish sentiment. Okay, and we'll get into that. So I said, Grok, I said, all right, assuming a recovery, let's assume a recovery. And let's assume a reasonable bullish scenario after everyone gets done heaving, right? These are two separate reports. So, you know, by tax day, Grok thinks 105. By the Bitcoin conference, Bitcoin Vegas, you know, the conference curse would be a top at 142. And, you know, this is on this side of the graph, on the right side, that is the weekly roadmap, right? Delivered to YouTube members and Patreon members. Naturally, that's kind of a teaser. If you want to know what we think about the year, please come check that out, right? Now, let's talk Grok. Let's talk risk reward. Let's talk probabilities. So after asking, I said, Grok, I pegged the odds at 60 to 70%. That 80K or a brief dip to 75 to 78 marks a major bottom. So we'll meet him in the middle. 65% chance that I'm right about 80K holding. Or Toby being right as well. Again, member area. Assuming no new catastrophic events, sentiment, cycle timing, and macro trends align with a 2022 style reversal. Though 2025's higher base and institutional pressure temper downside depth. With the 60 to 70% chance of bottoming near 80K, 142K by July 4th feels achievable if fear to greed and macro stars align. Because I told Grok where fear greed is. It was at 10, it was at 15, then people got kind of normalized around the summit, and then it went to 35. Ooh, it's at 92 at Thanksgiving. Your 80K as 20K frame strengthens. This today's bargain basement could indeed spark a major move. Okay. Now, remember, nobody wanted it below 20. And I suspect if it goes below 80, you've already got people saying, I want out of this thing. I don't blame them. People are wrecked. But the thing is, when people are wrecked is when you got to look for opportunities, right? It's always darkest before dawn. Everybody thinks it's going to 200K. How did they think you were going to get there? It was just going to levitate. Someone was going to give it to you? No, they were going to pressure you out and they were going to make you earn it. There's no such thing as a free lunch. And I'm telling you that because I'm reminding myself of that, right? There's no such thing as a free lunch. Nobody owes me YouTube videos. Nobody owes me anything. I got to go earn it, right? It's like, this thing came out last night. I was like completely disgusted. There wasn't enough nicotine on the planet last night. I was like, oh my God, are you kidding me? I called my colleague on the phone. I was like, you know, this can go up now. I think I just got bearish. It can go up now. So if it happened to you, it happened to me. Let's see who's here. Okay, again, don't forget to check out the YouTube member area. You know, we have all these catchy little titles. We have a model portfolio, right? So Toby weighing in on all the cool coins. Not all of them are in the icons. That's a hint. Okay, we have member requests. They want to go over everything. Let's rock that before we just start talking. Okay, so I know people wanted to go over all the big cryptos. Let's start with XRP. Okay, let's go to XRP over here. Okay, so XRP on a daily chart, wild. We got to go to a 4-hour chart, I think. So I would say support in XRP is 225. That seems what they want to do with it. I think they want to give up on it, honestly. And they could unwind the whole Trump pump. Okay, here's XRP again. Now, I think there's something very important here in XRP. And I'm actually going to take the DeMark. I'm going to take the normal DeMark work off, as I call it. And we're going to focus on D-Wave. Okay. So it's a 4-hour chart of XRP. This was the pre-Orange Man bottom. This was the planetary alignment bottom. This was a 3-wave. Obviously, you could tell because of how quickly it went up. And this is the grinding, painful 4-wave that just grinds you into sand. And then it'll take off and take out this high for the 5-wave on a very emotional move, which, of course, there's a massive catalyst for in the dollar, right? The only way out of a debt crisis is to devalue the currency, and everyone's selling fast money, right? And if you look at all of these coins, right, it's the same thing. It's the same thing. I mean, when I look at Bitcoin, it's not the 5-wave scenario. I mean, I'm sorry, it's not the 5-wave up, but in Bitcoin, it shows that move at 77, that was it. That's what the DeMark work shows. You got this 5. I mean, I don't know how much I can blow it up, right? The 5 and the 0, I mean, that was it, right? And this is the 1-wave up. And then this is the, which is what you get before you get a much broader trend. 2 waves and 4 waves are designed to get you out. So when 3 waves begin, which are major uptrends, you have gradually, then suddenly. In the meantime, they're just grinding you into sand. And I don't think you should let that happen, right? Okay, everyone down on Solana. Solana pressing support at 139. So what are they going to do this thing over the weekend? I don't know. Does it make any sense? Is it like 2022 all over again? You know, the dollar index on a monthly basis, this 13 top is curtains. Curtains. And again, they are going to relentlessly sell crypto. They're going to relentlessly sell it. Okay, so let's go to total crypto market cap because we are at a big inflection point, to be intellectually honest. So this is total crypto market cap on a 4-hour chart. We'll see if they can make higher lows. You know, if we go to a daily chart, okay, total crypto market cap is hanging out at 2.5 trillion. So just to be clear, all of crypto is still worth less than one Magnificent 7 stock, just in case you're just can't take it anymore. And all this is done is gone from premium zone to discount. I'm sorry, to equilibrium. Okay, total 2 and total 3 are at big inflection points. They're at the apex of a triangle. It's not clear how this resolves. Frankly, it's not looking real good right now, right? I'm somewhat concerned, but altcoins, again, hanging out here, hanging out on support at equilibrium. This is total 3. Okay, members requesting move. Yeah, I mean, this is higher because they're going to put stuff on the blockchain. And as a Coinbase coin, it's on the discount zone. So why are we bearish again? Like, oh, I see. Because we thought we were entitled to having our bags mooned. I thought he was going to be more aggressive. I'm not going to lie. I thought he was going to be more aggressive. I mean, he was aggressive on everything else, but we'll see. It's not over yet. It's not over yet. But even if it is over, the dollar, right? IOTX. Another Coinbase coin. Okay, again, I'm not selling anything on the discount zone. I should have been less bullish at the premium zone. There's no way I'm selling the market on the discount zone. I'm just not doing it. Not doing it, right? Now, as I pull up some charts, Janice McAfee actually recently came back from a funeral. And, you know, she had a really, really good point. She's like, you know what? Make sure you check in on your people and make sure you don't forget about what's really important in your life. I could use to take that advice. Okay, so Ethereum on a daily chart, right? And when you look at this, like here's the DeMark 5-wave bottom. So this is LuxAlgo's version of D-wave. LuxAlgo doesn't draw it until it's over. DeMark is a little bit more sophisticated. But when LuxAlgo does draw it, I mean, for goodness sake, what is the reason to be short ETH? Not to mention the fact that you've got this big downward sloping channel. Why is anybody selling ETH? I don't get it. I don't get it. They're going to come charging out of this meeting and they're going to be like, build something. At a minimum, they're going to say, build something. They have a business development marketing arm that was built by itself. I've got a tweet about it somewhere, right? These guys came out and said, hey, we're gonna build our own thing. We're not gonna sit around and wait for anybody, right? We're gonna do it ourselves. We're gonna go etherealize, right? Only 21,000 followers. An institutional marketing arm for Ethereum. Nobody believes it. Excellent. Okay, let's buy it. Let's go. Let's do it, right? Let's do it. I don't understand why you would sell Ethereum here with the dollar about to fall out of bed. I mean, the dollar is so overdue to fall out of bed. And then if you go over here, I think, right, to ETH on Coinbase, you got a 13 top in the dollar, right? And then I think, if I remember correctly, maybe not, I could have sworn you had some kind of bottom in Ethereum. There it is, right? You got a possible 13 bottom on a monthly chart of Ethereum. So you got a 13 bottom on Ethereum and a 13 top in the dollar. And everyone's like, I want out of crypto. I'm so upset. I want out. And I understand P&L is P&L. I got it. Believe me. My P&L is, I have P&L and I have YouTube views. So I understand, dude. Believe me. I get it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I understand. I empathize if you feel like you're wrecked and you don't want to do this anymore. But when you don't want to do it anymore, it's like kind of like David Goggins, right? When you don't want to do it is when you have to do it. It's easy to be here when it's going up. And there's a McAfee thing that I pulled out. When I asked the AI agent at McAfee, is the only way you really appreciate the highs is when you have to live with the lows, right? And if you want to hear about what life is going to be like in 2050, tune into the YouTube member area. And I refuse to give up on antivirus. I mean, they have merch, they have gift cards, they have, you know, SIM cards. My daughter, if she travels, she can get data on a phone and no one knows they're there. And I understand from last night from Janice that it's materially cheaper than buying it from a carrier. So they have e-commerce and all they need is Talking John McAfee. Oh, by the way, that's being released tonight. Like the market is hugely bearish. Okay. Right? You want to take advantage of when it was hugely bearish, don't you? I think I would. I kind of do, right? Okay. All right. Big Dream Kid says, what a disaster. Bro, I don't blame you. You know what I'm saying? Like, on one hand, I think you want to take advantage of everyone freaking out. But on the other hand, people think it was the government's job to moon their bags. I thought the orange man was going to be more aggressive, but they can't grow their way. They can't grow their way out of this. Like you also have to ask yourself, everyone's asking what's their policy going to be today? What's their policy going to be in 3 months? Like they're going to unleash Michael Saylor on the tape. What's going to happen when the dollar starts falling out of bed? What's the general public going to do? What are they going to do in Europe? Right? When you have all these governments like spying on you and stuff like that. Like some governments may change their policy, but all the governments maybe not so nice. What happened to cryptocurrency being for the people? Not just for governments. All right, yeah, I know. The market's going down, right? The market was going down in 2019 when Bitcoin was at 3,000. That was the worst winter I've ever seen. After FTX, you thought it was completely over and it was never coming back. Ever. Ever. And it was just as bad last year in the summer. That was another give up trade, right? It was basically memes only and the whole rest of the market did nothing. It's like you can pick your pain, right? But a bull market is not going to just moon to 200K with everybody on board. The only way it gets to 200K is if everyone gets off the train and then has to get back on the train. Seriously. Like the only way to get everybody in is to first get everybody out. Okay. Naturally, if you want to see what the United States crypto policy really is, and if you're not wrecked, go get a ticket to the Bitcoin conference. Seriously. I mean, everyone's like, well, what are they going to say at the summit? Well, maybe policy will be more developed because I hope they have something to say at the summit. And what if they did? Like, what if Michael Saylor stands up at the summit and say, let me tell you what we're going to do with Bitcoin? Like, what if the result or the end game of what they're talking about today actually gets implemented at the summit in Vegas? Right? Michael Saylor as the Bitcoin spokesperson, as everybody is selling on whatever happens today. I understand people are disappointed, and I understand the market was living and dying on tweets. But again, when you have an eclipse like this, people get emotional, right? Don't get into a fight with your spouse. Don't divorce crypto. Don't. If you have to manage your position or manage risk or just walk away, then do it. But if Grok thinks there's a 65 or 60% chance, right? 65 or 60% chance is actually pretty good in Wall Street terms. There is no such thing as 90% chance. You have a 65% chance of a bottom at 80. That's similar to a bottom at 20. I would encourage you to think before you get bearish. Think before you get bearish. Okay, people, that's it for me. Have a good weekend. On behalf of the Eagle King and Toby, we will see you next week.